I'm Calivan. On this episode of Know Your Studio, we're going to be taking a look at Pyro, best known for their real-time tactics series Commandos. Our story starts in 1996 with the formation of Pyro Studios in Madrid, Spain by founder Ignacio Perez Dulce. Ignacio had already been working in the video games industry as a distributor for the previous 5 years, so he had some indication in the kind of things that were required to make a successful game. However, his only previous design experience was the time he spent in school creating board games with his friends. Spain was an unlikely place for a fledgling video game studio. They had to order their first PC systems by mail order from the USA, as there wasn't much of a computing industry in their home country back then. It's hard to get exact figures on these sorts of things, but as a rough comparison we can look at internet availability. In 1998, the year that Pyro would release their first game, about 30% of US citizens had some sort of internet access, whether it's from home, business or a public place. In Spain, this figure was just 4%. Being at the very forefront of an industry is no easy thing. You've got to create your own tools, learn on the job and make all of your own mistakes, but undaunted by this, Ignacio put his team together and got to work. Heading up his development team would be Gonzalo Suarez, probably one of Spain's few experienced game developers at that point, having worked in the industry since the mid-80s. Gonzalo would assume the role of co-designer and be a critical component of Pyro's future successes. Pyro wanted to produce a game that was innovative and of high quality, and importantly, could compete well in the current market. Strategy games were popular in this time period, but the genre was not yet oversubscribed, so they decided that there were plenty of opportunities for innovation and financial success in that area, so they got to work on their first game. Fast forward 2 years and in 1998 Commandos Behind Enemy Lines was released. It was a huge and unexpected worldwide success, selling some 750,000 copies before the end of the year. It topped the charts in a lot of markets and won numerous awards, and along with the expansion pack would sell over 1.5 million copies over the next couple of years, making it the biggest hit in the history of Spanish video games at the time. They would follow up Commandos with a sequel entitled Beyond the Call of Duty in 2001, which although had high sales figures and great reviews, didn't quite reach the same heights of popularity as the first game. Their publisher, Eidos, partially blamed the underperformance of the second Commandos game for an $11 million loss that quarter, which seems a bit unfair to me considering it had a budget of just $7 million and sold over 500,000 copies. Over the next few years, Pyro would release several more games, including further sequels to Commandos and a couple of other strategy titles. Not bad games by any means, but mostly met with average reviews and sales. Their final entry in the Commandos series was a big flop and caused a split with their publisher, and it would be the last game to come out of that franchise at the time. From here, things took a bit of a different direction, as Pyro's creator would launch an animation studio as a sister company called Ilion, which would release its first feature film in 2009. Planet 51, starring The Rock and several other big names, was a co-production with Handmade Films and TriStar, and although it was far from a blockbuster success, it did put Ilion on the map as a respectable animation studio. Pyro did produce a game as a tie-in with the film, but from the limited information available to me now, I think it's most kindly described as forgettable. In 2012, Pyro merged with Play Wireless to form Pyro Mobile, with the aim of producing games for tablets and phones. There is very little public information available from Pyro at this time, nor anything much in the way of interviews or press releases. A detailed look into game credits shows that most of the big hitters from the Commandos era had moved on to other organisations by then, which gives me the impression that the Pyro of the 2010s bore very little relation to the Pyro of the 90s and the 2000s. Their new mobile-centric plan didn't seem to bear any fruit, and by 2017 they had ceased operations. Pyro Studios might not be around anymore, but their legacy lives on. The Commando series is well remembered by many and still lives on today, not just as the original games and the 2020s remaster, but with a new game set for release this year. More importantly than that, Pyro and its sister company Ilion place Spain firmly on the map as a serious player in the video gaming and computer animation landscape. Hi there, I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, please do all the like, subscribe and comment stuff that makes YouTube acknowledge my existence, and I hope to see you back soon.